everybody. We are back for an election day edition of the Parent Pivot podcast. Here we are on November the 5th and get some new content. I'm Steve Cummings.
Happy election day.
Happy election day. Yeah. I don't know. I think we're going to go out to see a movie tomorrow night, right?
Tonight.
We're
filming this on Monday. That's why he said that. But
Dang. Yeah.
You almost had it right.
I almost had it right. Yeah, I was trying to be sneaky there saying, hey, this is coming out on Tuesday. But anyway, we are here to kind of talk about something that has been around for a while, and it affects relationships. It affects relationships in a good way and in a negative way. So it's not evil in and of itself. But what am I referring to, hon?
We are talking about social media. So we have had our own share of not necessarily things that we did, but things that we witnessed family members do that ended up not going well and hurt relationships. And so, as a parent of adult children, as a grandparent, I think that you need to be aware of the rules, so to speak, that
Wait, there's rules?
Yes, that your adult children want you to live by.
Oh.
So, for example, one of the things that we messed up ourselves with was when our firstborn grandchild was born. And I didn't think twice about posting about it.
No, we're excited. It's like, here we go. Hey, first grandchild born, and off we go, because that's what you do. And we're mostly talking Facebook. We've not been on Instagram. We're not on TikTok.
But they're all the same that way.
Right. But it's basically you're presenting the best part of you to the rest of the world, saying, look how wonderful my life is, when inside it probably, that's just like 1/10 of it.
Right. But so we quickly found out that that was not something that they wanted us to do. They wanted to have that themselves to put out there on social media. And so when we kind of usurped their moment of glory, so to speak, in announcing their child's birth.
Right.
So that's like one little incident, but I can guarantee you, if you sat down and had a conversation with your adult children about any kind of social media, they would want to fill you in on, hey, mom, dad, you do this, and this really isn't okay, or you really should avoid this, or please don't tag me. A lot of people don't want to be tagged because that leads to everybody else to see what is happening. So there are just so many instances like that have caused an issue.
Right. Well, and even we've learned now we're on grandchild number 5.
Yeah.
So we are now expert, at least at not circumventing the baby's news. But even in addition now, your children, when they have a baby, here's a new one. They do not want their baby's face to be on social media.
Right. Yeah.
So, and that's kind of like, whoa. So that means I can't share a photo of my grandchild on social media and stuff because, and tell them why, sweetie.
So the thinking behind that is that it's not really a safe world. There are a lot of predators on the internet. There is a lot of AI generated stuff these days. And so a lot of parents are feeling that it is unsafe to put their child's likeness out there for anyone to generate that in a different way or use it in a bad way. So that's another rule that you need to know and understand.
Well, and on the flip side, just know that there are still ways to see those photos. It's just they don't want them shared with the rest of the world. So, for example, our kids might post a photo, but the baby's face is not facing out. Or like we had a family photo at Hume Lake this summer, and little Florence was there, and we covered up her face with like a little heart or something.
Yeah.
And some families are okay with that. And if you're like gangbusters on Facebook and you're wanting to do that, it may come as a complete surprise and going, wait a minute. But remember, it's not about us.
Right. And it's a different world than
It's not about us. It's
we've
like,
been part of.
yeah,
really.
we want them to make decisions that they feel safe and comfortable about. And we need to go, great, we're happy to abide by that.
Yep.
This wasn't around in fact, Facebook was not around when we had our kids. We had
No.
to do it the old fashioned way. Hey, we had a baby.
No, in fact, when we first had
How
Wesley,
did we tell everybody?
we took video of
Oh,
the
with it- with
whole thing with one of those big, huge cameras.
Yes.
And
It's out of my
then,
shoulder.
yeah. And Wesley had spinal meningitis when he was born. And so he spent 2 weeks in the hospital.
Yeah.
So Steve had spent 2 weeks like taking video and all of this, of that. And then we put it in an envelope and sent it to the family to
Oh, we did?
watch in California.
How about
Because we
that?
were in Colorado at the
I
time.
don't remember these things. This is why I married up.
Yeah. And then they sent it back to us. So,
That's amazing. I don't remember that.
yeah, so that's kind of how we shared
This
things.
is this is all that happened before the internet went kablooey and things. And so, yeah, that's the main thing. And I think a lot of grandparents will get on Facebook, and really the only reason why we're on is to see our kids.
Yep.
And what they post.
Although I see a lot of people who enjoy posting and put a lot of their lives out there. So, to those kind of people that really enjoy that posting aspect, it's going to be more of a challenge for you to be told not to do these things.
Right.
And to just abide by your kids' wishes
Right.
as new parents. That's just,
Right.
be
And-
kind, be gracious.
And
And-
it's not that you can't have photos of your grandkids. That's not what we're talking about.
No,
In
because
fact,
a lot of people have private.
they have private channels.
Yeah.
Google and whatever has things where you can just add the members to, and here's where we share them in the family
Yeah.
Google thing. It's just a matter of like going, I'm not putting them out there for the rest of the world to see because my daughter or my daughter-in-law has said that's not
Yeah.
what we want to do. We say, great, we respect that.
Yeah.
And I've had to tell my parents who are in their 80s and 90s, hey, this is how your grandchildren, want to do that, and they're fine with it too. They're like, okay, great. So we'll send them photos, but they know not to post them.
Yeah, exactly.
What else about social media? That's one thing.
Yeah.
There's a lot more.
So, a few weeks ago, we did a podcast. Excuse me, the word. This is a podcast.
Or a YouTube cast.
Or a YouTube cast. Anyway, no, a vlog, I think is.
Vlog, is that what they call it? What? We're new to this. Whatever you call this,
Anyway, we did one about texting. And so I think some of the same rules apply with texting as with social media, in that you want to think it through before you do it. Number one, you want to stop and think.
Well, and for me, even just sharing photos of my phone, I'm sending something. My first thing is like, why am I sending this? Am I sending it to say, hey, look at me, look at my family. I'm so proud of them, or whatever. Or if I'm sending putting a post on there, who am I going to offend? That's what I'm thinking about.
Right.
If it's about me and I'm trying to build an image and I want everybody to see that I have the perfect family, which I don't, and I kind of question whether any of us do. I don't think we do. So you have to ask yourself, why am I doing this?
Right. And for a lot of people, I mean, it just is, I want to share this part of my life with the people I love. And Facebook or social media is an easy way to stay in touch with people.
Right.
Like even people, like an old high school friend or something.
Which you do quite a bit. You're texting with them, or
yeah, I mean,
you're part of a Foothill High School.
Well, I was until I got
Yeah, we
kicked
got
off
kicked off. We got
Face-
kicked off Facebook.
We already told that
Okay.
story a couple weeks ago. But anyway, yeah, so there are pieces of that you do just like, hey, this is what my life looks like right now. And that's great. But the thing that I want to say, be just extra careful about, is using social media as a weapon, so to speak.
Yes.
So it can be a place where wars happen on social media, a lot of talking back and forth, a lot of comments that are easy to make behind a screen that you don't have to face somebody
Tease-
face to face with.
Yeah.
So it's a lot easier to say things that you wouldn't say to someone's
Right.
face.
I can be passive aggressive.
Right.
I can be sarcastic.
Right.
I can be downright mean, even to people I don't know very well. And it's like, wait, what's happening? And the whole world's seeing this. So you're offending a lot of people, and you could be offending friends of friends of friends of your in-law kids or their kids. All that. I mean, because we don't think about that when we go to post something on
No.
social media. We're just
No.
thinking about whatever. But yeah, I can think of a number of instances where that's happened.
And, you know, also in one of our most recent podcasts, we did talk about being unoffendable.
Yeah.
And so we have to take responsibility for that. But that doesn't mean that we should easily try to offend somebody else, or that
we don't care.
We don't care. Or, you know, I remember being on Facebook a few years ago, well, it's probably been 10 years now, maybe 7, 8, 9. I don't know. Anyway, in there somewhere, my kids did this beautiful video for me for Mother's Day. They each interviewed and they said these wonderful things. And I was very quick to post it on Facebook. Nobody ever said anything to me other than, you know, like, Julia, you're so blessed, blah, 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 blah. But it occurred to me later after the fact, it was kind of, I would call it a conviction, that I suddenly had a conviction knowing how many people don't have great relationships with their adult children. And
it's kind of like, hey, look at me.
Yeah. And I just felt this uneasiness with, I wouldn't want anyone to think that our life was perfect or that my children are perfect. And there are a lot of hurting people out there. And to be on Facebook, and I'm sure everyone's experience, especially you women, I think women more than men are probably on Facebook and get their feelings all in a, you know, knot. But a lot of times when you're looking at somebody's perfect life, there's a pain inside of you.
Sure. It's always about comparison. Oh, look at them.
Yeah.
You know, oh, good for them. You know, or they're traveling to exotic ports around the world or things like that, or the grandchildren this or the kids that, or it's always the best things are happening in your life.
It's like a Christmas letter every day.
Oh my gosh. If you send us a Christmas letter for Christmas, I apologize, but sometimes we just look at it and we love you and we appreciate you. But I really, you know, and we're excited for you that those are good for you. But again, I go back to why.
Yeah, well, we've sent Christmas letters, and
it's been about a decade since we've done it.
It's been a while, but anyway, all that to say, like Steve said, be aware of the why. Why are you doing this? It's a fair question to ask yourself. It's a growth question. The other piece is also just be aware of the people out there that you may hurt by what you say. And if you're saying, well, that's not my problem, that's their problem, I would ask you to maybe look at yourself and why that is the attitude in yourself. There is truth to that, for sure. You are not responsible for everybody else's emotions or anything like that. I would never ask anyone.
Right, because then you're not posting anything ever again, because something can always trigger somebody to something, and we aren't responsible.
And I spend a lot of time in my office talking to people about not being responsible for other people's emotions.
Right.
But there is a way to share things, to say things, whatever, that doesn't cause a lot of pain for someone else. And so that's what I just ask you to be aware of. The weaponization part of social media, if you're using it to make a point, to dig at someone, hoping that they kind of see your Facebook post or Instagram post and that somehow they'll get a little jab, again, it's maybe somewhere where you need to look at yourself and the growth that you might need in your own life.
Well, this being election day, even though we're recording it the day before, I have been off of social media and Facebook for how long? 8, 9, 10 years. I am a better person because of it. I don't need to know what my friends, like who they're voting for.
Yeah,
I'd rather not know. I don't want to see them putting all those things out there for vote this person or vote that person, because inside, you know, depending on which way or whatever, it's like it's gonna hinder my relationship. So same thing happens with our adult kids.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, I don't want to be friends with mom and dad on Facebook. I need to somehow unfriend them.
Yeah. Or I'm embarrassed of them.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
In fact, I would even say this. I was just thinking about this as you were talking. I would say if you want a homework assignment from this episode, here it is.
I love homework assignments.
Sit down with your adult child and say, and if you're on social media regularly, maybe that's more mom than dad, I don't know, but ask them, hey, is there anything that you're seeing? What's it like to be on the other side of me when it comes to social media? Yeah. I mean, there is that what's it like to be on the other side of me, period, as mom or dad, because you want to learn. Maybe there's some things where, dad, you're harsh about this or that, or, I want to have conversations with you, but you're always about responsibility and things like that. I want to get to know you. That's a helpful way. What I'm saying here is let's just take it to social media. Hey, how are we coming? I really want to know, because it's important when I post on social media that I'm not offending my family. I can't, 10 layers out, someone's going to eventually get offended. There's nothing I can do about that. But my inner circle.
And people read into things.
Right. And my inner circle, which is my kids plus my in-law kids plus my grandkids. You may have an adult grandchild.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're thinking a lot differently than this boomer egeneration. So, if you ever have a chance to have a conversation, go for a walk, go get some ice cream, sit down for steak dinner, whatever, and kind of talk about that, because saying, hey, we heard this awesome podcast on the Parent Pivot podcast about social media, and we just wanted to check in and ask, how are we doing? Give us your honest feedback and be prepared. Be prepared for some honesty and don't take it out on them, or even talk about, hey, when you guys eventually have kids, we're going to sit and wait. If you told them ahead of time, we're going to wait for you to tell us what your decision is about announcing to the world.
Brownie points.
Oh my gosh. If you did that ahead of time, they're gonna, my parents or my in-laws are the best.
Right.
So that's the hot tip of the day.
Yeah. So all that to say, basically in a nutshell, pretty much all the things that we said, just, ask yourself why, ask yourself, am I trying to bother someone? Ask myself, am I going to maybe offend someone with what I'm posting? Ask yourself the questions, because, and this is where I kind of want to challenge some thinking, because there is, of course, going to be that thing, I just like to put it out there for everybody. And it's my way of staying in touch and letting them know what's going on in my life and yada, yada, yada. However, you can always send pictures or even text with people. And, yesterday I sent out several texts to a bunch of friends that I felt like, gosh, I haven't talked to any of these people in a long time. And I just sent out a text going, I was thinking about you and how are you doing? And, kind of what's new. And I'm texting with them. These are the people that are most important to me. These are the people that I really want to stay in touch with. They're not the 500 friends on social media, or many of you probably have more than that, some less, but it's more just succinct.
Right. So what I hear you saying is, it's like, I have an inner circle of friends. I can send the photos privately. Hey, we just had a grandchild.
Yeah. I did that
when I go to social media. I might as well go climb up on the roof of this house with a bullhorn and announce it to the entire world that can hear me. And guess what? I'm probably going to annoy some people and things. And do they really need to hear it? And unbeknownst to me, again, I'm one of my traits, and what I'm hearing here is we keep saying on our podcast, be aware, be aware, be aware. Yeah. When we are unaware of things, there's a lot of fracturing that goes on, and then we wonder why. And then we get into tit for tat and relationships. We get our feelings hurt. Now we're dealing with hurt. We shut down. We don't talk anymore. We know of families, in-law families that's going on right now. Those things can hurt you. But the question you have to look inside is, what's the mask I'm wearing? Why do I need to go up on my rooftop with a bullhorn to tell the world about something? And they probably don't even care. Everybody's, you go on a train, you go on a subway, you go on an airplane, you sit in an airport, you're on a bus, you're going somewhere. We were sitting at Starbucks yesterday, and there was a father and a daughter, and the daughter just sitting there playing with her drink, and dad's on his cell phone. And I'm thinking, everybody wants to scroll through things because their brain is addicted to this. And why? So spend authentic time with the people that are most important, and sometimes maybe go on a social media fast for a month.
Yeah, there's actually a great book called The 40-Day Social Media Fast.
Yeah,
I
we'll
forget
put
the
a link to that
author's
in our
name,
notes
but yeah.
and things. But maybe try it out and saying, do I really need social media? You know what? When we got kicked off of Facebook because we combined our accounts, you're not supposed to do that because I didn't have one for a while. We did go start another one.
No, we haven't. We may,
but we're like
we
okay,
haven't.
it's not like the world came to an end.
No.
I'm not looking at it. You're not looking at it. We have our kids sending us photos. Our friends know, and our immediate family knows. Our extended family knows everything that's going on, and that's enough. So the question becomes, what mask am I wearing that I have to tell the rest of the world how wonderful I am? And look at the wonderful life I have. Look at the wonderful kids I have. I've been to all these places. Look at my food. Remember when we took pictures of food?
People still take pictures of food.
I'm like, what am I saying to somebody? Look what I get to enjoy. I mean, if you're like me and you want to get into that, great. But we can always see, I think that's what bumps into us. Like we'll see someone else's post on social media and you can see it in someone else, but you can't see it in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So again, if you're interested and you want to push into that, do a 30-day fast. If you did it for 30 days and you like it, try 60 days.
Yeah.
Or just check in on it every once in a while because our brain tells us, I've got to pick this up. I've got to look at something. I'm sitting here waiting for my hair to dry or whatever. I'm in the barbershop or beauty salon or get my nails done. I have to look at this. So what do I do? I'm scrolling through social media. I'm sharing a photo. Find a private way to do that with the select people who mean the most to you.
Yeah.
Because when I die, the rest of the world, the Facebook or social media doesn't go, oh, what happened to Steve? We miss his post. I'm like, that doesn't happen.
Well, I suppose it could happen, but
I doubt it. I doubt it.
Yeah. Anyway, this is not to chastise.
Nope.
It's not to guilt. It's not any of those things. It's just to get you to think. It's
we're all about improving our relationships and pivoting from being that parent. I mean, the parent, think about it. I'm so proud my kid's riding a bike for the first time. I'm so proud my kid hit a baseball. I'm so proud my daughter's on the volleyball team. Boom, here we go. Now all of a sudden we're partners. And guess what? Our kids are probably going, oh, mom and dad. Would you
I've heard a lot.
Would you please stop doing that?
Stories of people who start another social media so that their parents don't
we're
know
going to go on
about.
TikTok, so we're not on Facebook anymore.
Well, it's not just that. Like they have more than one Instagram and more than one Facebook.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
So that their parents aren't part of it.
Yeah, and you know what? Be a good listener. I mean, that would if my kids did that, at first I'd feel hurt, but I'd want to hear their heart. Because I need to be able to separate myself from that, saying I want to love my adult kids well. I want to pivot well from being that parent to a partner, and social media plays a big part of that.
Yeah.
And like anything else, I want to get on the right page about that. And that's really all we're saying here today is if you're looking for healthier relationships as a partner, as you've made the pivot from parent to partner or are making the pivot, social media plays a big part of that.
Yeah.
And ask questions. Don't just assume. Jump in there. Start thinking about why am I doing it? What do I need to do? And like I said, you earn huge brownie points if you ask ahead of time.
Yeah.
About things.
So just beware. I think that's good. Beware.
Okay.
I think that we'll leave it with
We'll leave it at that.
Be aware and ask yourself the hard questions.
And now we're going to tell you, you want to get a hold of us, send us a direct message on Instagram or Facebook or an email to Gmail. And it all is Parent Pivot Podcast. Okay. So we'd love to get that. We've gotten some direct messages on those. We love that. Go find us on Facebook and like us and share us with your friends. We've gotten a number of y'all who are doing great about subscribing here on YouTube. I think it's over here underneath you, honey, right in there. Hit that subscribe button and share it with your friends and things. And we love that. One other thing I want to promote. February, we are going to Birmingham, Alabama. Mm-hmm. We have been asked to be a part of the Grandparenting Summit with the Legacy Coalition. It's around February 20th, 21st, 22nd, right in there. We will put a link down here in our show notes about that. If you live in the Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, you're within driving distance of Birmingham, highly recommended.
Or if you just want to fly out.
Or if you want to fly out, it's for grandparents. Legacy Coalition is an awesome, awesome grandparenting ministry.
It's a resource ministry.
It's a resource ministry, and they're also going to be doing it online. So we'll put a link in there of how you can even watch it online. We're doing a workshop on
basically the sandwich generation, those people who are caring for an older parent and those who are also caring for a young adult or even involved in their grandchildren's lives or whatever. But either way, that you're kind of sandwiched between generations where you feel the responsibility to take care of both sides.
Yeah, and we're going to be doing a workshop on that on Friday and Saturday of that conference, and then also one for the online folks as well. Yeah. And I came up with a very creative opening that you just have to come and see and watch. That's my teaser and stuff. So look for that. It's at Legacy Coalition, I think, /summit, but it's called the Grandparenting Summit. It's with Legacy Coalition. I will put a link down there. And yeah, I wanted to promote that. So thank you for watching us. Thank you for listening to us. Thank you for sharing us. Thank you for the awesome comments that we get. We love that. Get in touch with us if you need any help on anything. Julia is available for some conversations on relationships. What's the best way to get in touch with you?
I would say through the Parent Pivot podcast. I just think that that's probably the best way. And then we can go from there as far as that goes. So yeah, that would be great.
Awesome.
I'd love to do that.
Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching us and listening to us on the Parent Pivot podcast. We'll see you next time.
Bye.